Welcome to my channel, USA Battle Zone. Today's story isn't about explosions or battles fought on foreign soil. It's about a different kind of war. One fought quietly, in the heart of a young woman who carried a legacy no one else could see. So sit back, open your heart, and let this story remind you that heroes come in many forms. Scene fades in. A small town diner in the Midwest. A cold morning. Steam rises from coffee cups. The bell over the diner door jingles as Emily Carter, a 24-year-old woman with tired eyes, walks in. She's wearing a faded, olive green military jacket, frayed around the edges, patches barely hanging on. Some of the local kids, sitting in a booth by the window, glance up. One of them snickers. "Hey, nice jacket, Grandma," one of the boys says under his breath, just loud enough for her to hear. Emily ignores it, pulling her beanie lower over her hair. She walks to the counter, her boots clicking on the old linoleum. "Coffee. Black," she says softly to the waitress. The waitress nods, a kind smile on her face. But others around the diner whisper. They don't know her. They don't know the story behind that jacket. But they will. Cut to narration over soft ambient music. That jacket, once crisp, now worn and heavy, had crossed deserts, jungles, and skies. It belonged to her father, Colonel James Carter, a decorated pilot who gave his life in Afghanistan 10 years ago. He wasn't just another name on a memorial wall. He was her everything. When he left for his final mission, Emily was just 14. She remembered standing at the doorway, watching him tie his boots, sunlight pouring across the floor. He smiled, pulled off the jacket, and placed it around her shoulders. "When you wear this, kiddo," he said, "stand tall. Because this jacket means you don't quit. Ever." And then he was gone. Music shifts. Somber piano melody. Emily wore that same jacket through high school. Through college. Through every storm that life threw at her. But in this little town, people didn't see the story. They just saw a girl clinging to something old, unfashionable, out of place. The whispers came daily. "Why does she always wear that? You'd think she could afford something new." And yet, she kept wearing it. Not because it was stylish, but because it was all she had left of him. Scene. Outside the diner. Snow begins to fall. Emily steps out after finishing her coffee. She pulls the jacket tighter. Across the street, a group of teenagers laugh, mocking her again. She hears the words, "Maybe her daddy's jacket couldn't save him either." The laughter cuts through her chest like glass. She freezes, breath catching. But she doesn't respond. She just walks away, boots crunching on the snow. They didn't know what those patches meant. They didn't know that one of them, a small, round insignia with golden wings, was a Medal of Honor Squadron patch, reserved for the few who'd earned it through unthinkable courage. They didn't know, but someone soon would. Scene shift. A week later, same diner. Bright morning light. A new figure enters. The bell chimes again, but this time it's not Emily. It's a man in uniform. Silver stars gleam on his shoulders. General Thomas Hargrove, recently retired but still carrying himself like a storm. He's in town for a veterans memorial service. He orders coffee, sits at the counter. As he waits, he glances around, and freezes. There, hanging over the back of a chair near the window, is that jacket. The old olive green one, with patches that time has nearly erased. He stands slowly, his expression shifting from curiosity to disbelief. He walks over, fingers brushing the faded patch on the right shoulder. His lips part slightly as if whispering to ghosts. "I know this jacket," he murmurs. Camera pans. Emily walks in just then, stopping dead when she sees the general. He turns. Their eyes meet. For a long moment, neither says a word. Then the general straightens. His voice trembles slightly. "Where did you get this jacket?" Emily hesitates. Everyone in the diner is watching now. "It was my father's," she says quietly. "Colonel James Carter." The general's coffee cup slips from his hand and shatters on the floor. The room falls silent. He takes a step closer. His eyes are glistening now. "James Carter," he repeats. "Your father was Eagle 6. Emily nods slowly. The general's hand trembles as he salutes. "Ma'am, your father saved my life." Music swells. Strings rise, cinematic emotion builds. The people who had been whispering fall completely silent. The laughter that had filled the diner a week ago is gone. General Hargrove's voice cracks as he continues. It was 2014, Helmand Province. We were pinned down by heavy fire. I called for air support, but there was no one available. Then, out of nowhere, your father came in, one jet against an entire enemy line. He didn't wait for orders. He didn't ask for backup. He just went. His jaw tightens. He saved 32 men that day, including me. But he never made it back. Emily's eyes fill with tears. I know, she whispers. They told us his plane went down. The general nods slowly. We recovered the patch, he says softly, touching the insignia on her jacket. That's his squadron, the Golden Wings. Every pilot who wore it was a hero. But your father, he was something else. Cut to emotional flashback montage. Jets soaring, desert winds, soldiers saluting. Narrator. In that small diner, history came alive again. The whispers stopped. The laughter died. And for the first time in years, Emily saw pride in the eyes of others, not pity. Because now they knew. They knew that the old, frayed jacket wasn't a relic of failure. It was a living symbol of sacrifice. Scene. The general turns to the crowd. This woman, he says, voice booming, carries the legacy of a man who gave everything for this country. And you mocked her for it. Silence. One of the teenagers looks down, ashamed. You wear fashion, the general continues, she wears history. Tears fill Emily's eyes. She whispers, he always said, stand tall. The general places a hand on her shoulder. Then stand tall, captain's daughter. Because heroes don't die, not as long as someone remembers. Scene fades, church bells ringing in the distance. That evening, the town gathers at the memorial park. Snow is falling again. The names of fallen soldiers glisten under the lights. At the podium, General Hargrove invites Emily to the front. She steps up, jacket on, patches shining faintly in the light. My father taught me that courage isn't about being unafraid, she says softly. It's about doing what's right, even when you are. This jacket, it's more than fabric. It's a promise to never forget. Her voice cracks. She looks out at the crowd, many of them the same people who once mocked her. So if you see someone carrying something old, something worn, remember, you don't know what battles they've fought to keep it. Music swells, patriotic orchestra rising. The general steps forward and pins a small medal to her jacket, a replica of her father's. For bravery, honor, and the strength to carry a hero's legacy, he declares. The crowd stands. Applause erupts. Some cry. And in that moment, for the first time in a decade, Emily smiles, not because the pain is gone, but because she finally knows it mattered. Montage. Cinematic slow motion. Emily walking past the diner, the same kids nod. Respectfully. The waitress placing a photo of Colonel Carter on the diner's wall, right above a small American flag. The general saluting at the memorial, whispering something to the sky. Emily running her fingers across the jacket, eyes closed, whispering, I did it, Dad. Narrator, voice soft but powerful. That jacket wasn't just old fabric. It was a story, written in courage, stitched in sacrifice, and carried by love. Some people wear fashion to impress others. But some wear memories to honor the fallen. And sometimes, it takes one moment, one recognition, to remind the world that heroes never truly leave us. Music quiets, gentle guitar and piano. So next time you see someone walking alone, wearing something that seems worn, something that doesn't fit the trend, don't laugh, don't mock, because that piece of clothing might be carrying a story, a battle, a memory worth more than all the gold in the world. Fade to black, screen text appears. In memory of all who served, your sacrifice will never be forgotten. Narrator, final emotional outro. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe to USA Battle Zone, where we don't just tell stories, we honor the people who lived them. Because heroes may fall, but their stories, they live forever.